Hello and welcome to Let's Play Stranger Things, the adventure game by Infamous Quests. The game that we'll be playing today is a fan-made game of Stranger Things, made by Infamous Quests, which are a fan group made from fans of adventure games such as those by Sierra and LucasArts, and they have made this game, Stranger Things, a fan-made game available at infamousquests.itch.io for Stranger Things. I have heard of this before, and it is a single-screen adventure game. I have not played it before, so I'm going to enjoy it with you. I have played, I've watched the first season of Stranger Things right now, and I've not seen season 2 or season 3 yet. I've also been reading that there is announced a season 4, and so I'm very excited for that, to see where this goes. And I love the ambiance of this series. I don't particularly like being scared myself very much. I'm not a horror person. I've never been into horror movies, but I do like being scared a little, such as by this. I've never read Stephen King novels, for example, but I have watched the movie Carrie, for example, and I grew up watching a lot of Steven Spielberg's movies, and this series is just top-notch in terms of atmosphere. So, if you're not familiar with Stranger Things, I first suggest that you go watch it, at least Stranger Things 1. And it's set in 1983, November specifically. And we're going to play this game. So I have downloaded it and I have installed it. And that is in this directory right here. So there's a README file here, and let's look at the README file. Stranger Things, a point-and-click adventure game by Stephen Alexander, James Mulvale, and John Taylor Stoll, based on the Netflix series created by the Duffer Brothers. This is a non-profit tribute effort by Infamous Quests, all rights reserved for the original copyright owners. Copyright 2016 Netflix. Point-and-click adventure. Left-click walks and interacts with items or characters. Right-click will look at them. Alt-Q will quit the game, and Alt-X will force close the application. And their website is www.infamousquests.com. Inquiries? info@infamousquests.com. So, there we go, and not sure whether I should run Win Setup or Stranger Things. I'll run Win Setup first just to be safe. Okay, so this gives us this screen here. Graphics settings, resolution 320 by 200. Yep, that is certainly true to the era of adventure games that I'm familiar with. We want to run full screen. Game language, there's only one. Filter. Okay, none. I'm not that familiar with graphic settings like that. Alright, so here we are ready to begin. love that music. Stranger Things, created by the Duffer Brothers. Click to continue. Chapter 1, The Search for Will Byers. Okay, this is what the boys call Mirkwood, the last place they think Will Byers was. So apparently we are playing as Police Chief Jim Hopper. And Mirkwood, of course, is a reference to The Hobbit. Oh, we have an inventory. We have cigarettes and a flashlight. Alright, let's see what hot spots are around. Large rock. Oh, we got stage action. At least that's what I call it. Small rock. Forest. Tree, Callahan, and Powell, who are two police officers that work with Chief Hopper. Wonder how far we can go to the left or right. Drain pipe, Mr. Clark, who's one of their teachers, fence signs, and the forest again. Hold up, boys, we cracked the case. We found a small rock. Yeah. It's a small rock on the floor of the forest. So if I right-click, that looks at the item, and if I left-click, that looks at the item, and if I right-click, it gives a description. This large rock has been here for a long time. You can still see some old faint graffiti on it. Apparently at one time Ron and Tammy loved each other. Surprisingly, there's nothing remarkable about this unremarkable rock. Alright, well let's talk to the officers. Powell? Powell is probably the most competent officer you have. That's good that he's on the case, then. Callahan. Callahan is a lanky, goofy-looking guy, but he's been a loyal deputy. That's good. We've got 2 good men on the case, 3 counting Chief Hopper. Okay, fellas, what's going on here? We've been searching the woods for a while now, Chief. Mr. Clark thinks he found something. And now we have dialogue options. What's up with Mr. Clark? Have we found anything else in the forest? You think Flo makes good coffee? Act professionally, you two. Well, that's enough, boys. I'll be back. Have we found anything else in the forest? Besides the bike, not a whisper of anything else. We did see the fort Will Byers made, but there was nothing of note in it. Have we found anything else in the forest? Besides the bike, not a whisper of anything else. We did see the fort Will Byers made, but there was nothing of note in it. Okay, so that just repeats the dialogue. It's kind of nice that you get the option then to go back and repeat the dialogue, because that was often the case in dialogue trees in LucasArts games where they would mention something once, but then you could not get back to it. If if you didn't remember it or did not take note the first time. What's up with Mr. Clark? He's over by the drain pipe. He said he found something. It's probably nothing interesting, honestly. Think Flo makes good coffee? Are you kidding? Flo's the best. I know it's put a few more hairs on my chest. Act professionally, you two. It's late, boss, and I'm tired. I got this bit of action. I don't want to hear it. Sorry, Chief. That's enough, boys. I'll be back. Oh, we have a fallen log. This branch has only fallen quite recently. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Will Byers is not underneath this tiny fallen log. The forest is eerily quiet as you walk through it. You hear only silence and see nothing. Yet you can feel something is near. Fence signs. Hawkins National Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy. It's just a normal no trespassing sign from the Hawkins National Laboratory, Department of Energy. No trespassing. U.S. government property. You give a slight tug on the sign, but it's attached firmly. It's covered with a stranger, powdery substance, though. It is covered with a stranger, powdery substance, so... well... that could... well, considering it said strange, I will assume that that is not normal oxidation like you would find on aluminum. Mr. Clark... Mr. Clark looks like science really charges his battery, if you know what I mean. Okay, Clark, what's going on? I found something. Well, what is it? It may be nothing. Let's see, then. Well, it's this torn piece of cloth. It looks like it looks like a kind of hospital gown or something. Yeah, it's dirty, but it's fresh. Hasn't been here long. No, not at all.
Item acquired.
Oh, we've got police radio chatter. Now we have an inventory item. Added, torn cloth. How are you doing? Well, I'm well, considering the circumstances. Will is a great kid, and I'm worried. What can you tell me about Will Byers? Will's a wonderful student. He and his friends are very bright. That's a good thing, too. Who are his friends? Well, he usually pals around with Mike Wheeler, Dustin Henderson, and Lucas Sinclair. What can you tell me about Mike? Mike's usually what you'd call the leader. Nice boy. What can you tell me about Dustin? Oh, Dustin is so funny, and bright, too. What can you tell me about Lucas? Lucas is very intense. He's the most focused, I'd say. Yeah, I agree. Lucas probably is the most focused. Nice night, eh? It'd be better if I was home watching The Thing on VHS with my girlfriend. Yeah. Goodbye. I'll be here if you need me. The forest is eerily quiet as you walk through it. You hear only silence and see nothing, yet you can feel something is near. So it gives the same description whether left click or right click. And let's look at the drain pipe. It's the terminus of an old drain pipe. You surmise that it must originate in the Hawkins lab above. You bend over and peer into the drain pipe. It's long, dirty, and disgusting. If someone crawled through this, I imagine they were either very brave or very scared. Indeed, I'd hate to think of anyone being in there. Mr. Clark, thanks for your help. Let's look at the inventory items. Cigarettes. Flo really wants you to quit these things. Yep. And if we right-click it, we get the description. If we left-click it, we get to use it as an object. It's your trusty flashlight. Actually, it's probably the most important piece of equipment you own. Could be. After all, can't really do much if you can't see. And a light source is always a good thing. Especially in an adventure game. Torn cloth. It's a torn piece of cloth from something. It's dirty and we found it in the pipe. Let's see if any of these guys can make out what this is. Say, Powell, what do you make of this? Well, this looks very much like a torn piece of something like a hospital gown to me, Chief. Yeah, it does. That's very thoughtful of you, Chief, and I'm gonna pass. Yeah, I think you'd better keep that, Chief. I'm just glad I spotted it. Hope it helps. Let's use the flashlight on the drain pipe. Mr. Clark, thanks for your help. If we right-click, then we get out of the object icon and get back to... Looks like we're going to have to pay a visit to that laboratory whether they like it or not. I promised Joyce I'd find Will. I suppose we'd better get back to the station and try to learn more about this and where it came from. I sure hope Flo has some coffee on, because we're gonna need it. That honestly did make me jump a little there. Stranger Things, only on Netflix. And here are the credits for the game. Thank you for playing. Reset or quit. Infamous, that www.infamous-quests.com. And there we go.